The Teach Yourself series from Viagrafix, designed to teach you to use your computer the fast and easy way.
I'm Leslie Thomas, along with Virgil Ritchie.
In today's competitive market, the versatility of Excel can help us produce information in a clear and concise manner.
Not only does Excel give us enhanced spreadsheet capabilities, but it also includes an easy-to-use Windows interface. We click the Start menu button, choose Programs, then choose the Windows Explorer from the flyout menu. Let's create our Learn folder. We click File, then New, and choose Folder. We see the new folder, and we type Learn to rename the folder, then press Enter. With our Learn folder highlight, then we'll click the A drive icon. With the 3.5 floppy drive icon highlighted, we'll highlight our files and drag the group to our Learn folder. And release the mouse button. A window appears showing the folder is being copied. Now the Viagrafix learning files appear on the C drive. Let's click the Close button and return to the Windows 95 desktop. When you are finished with this tutorial, simply delete the files and the Learn folder.
We've made a complete installation of Microsoft Office 95, which includes Excel 7.0. Let's begin at the Windows 95 desktop.
We'll click the Start button and choose Programs. Then we'll select Microsoft Excel. Let's take a moment to discuss the Excel window. The title bar is the bar across the top of the window. It shows the name of the file that is currently being used. Excel starts off with a default name of Book 1. As we create new files, the name changes. Just below the title bar, we see the menu bar. The menu bar contains the drop-down menus for Excel. Excel initially displays two toolbars. The Standard toolbar generally appears just below the menu bar. The Formatting toolbar appears just below the Standard toolbar. The Standard toolbar is used for basic workbook tasks, and the Formatting toolbar is used for formatting characters, numbers, and cells. We can display any of Excel's built-in toolbars, and we can customize them to include the buttons that we use most. Excel automatically saves any changes we make to our toolbars. To display a list of Excel's toolbars, either click on the View menu and choose Toolbars, or click the right mouse button on a toolbar and select the desired toolbar. We close the Chart toolbar. For a brief description of what a tool does, place the cursor on top of it. A description or tooltip appears describing the command the button performs. Also, a more detailed description of the button is shown on the status bar along the bottom of the window. The button we've selected will preview the print selection. The formula bar displays the cell reference for the active cell as well as the contents of the active cell. We can edit values and formulas with the formula bar. A1 is shown in the reference area of the formula bar. This shows the location of our active cell, the one with the dark rectangular outline. As we enter Viagrafix in cell A1, notice the new buttons on the formula bar. To cancel our changes, we click the Cancel box. The enter box anchors the data into the cell. More features of the reference line and formula bar will be seen as we use them. Located at the bottom of the window is the Windows 95 taskbar, and just above the taskbar is Excel's status bar. The status bar displays brief information about the currently selected command or the current state of the Excel workspace. The status bar tells us to press Enter to accept the text we typed. Excel now displays Ready, letting us know it is ready to receive more information. The next area of the status bar displays the auto-calculate information. The last area of the status bar indicates if the caps lock, scroll lock, extend, or num lock is on. The workbook is the central part of the window. A workbook is the electronic equivalent of a 3-ring binder. Inside workbooks, we find sheets. Each sheet's name appears on a tab at the bottom of the workbook. The sheet tabs are the tabs located in the lower left corner of the window, just above the status bar. When we click a sheet tab, that spreadsheet becomes the active sheet. To scroll through the sheet tabs, we use the scrolling buttons to the left of the tabs. By default, 16 new worksheets are automatically created in a new workbook. To add more sheets, we hold down the Control key as we click the sheet tabs. These sheets can be worksheets, chart sheets, or Visual Basic modules, and we are able to create up to 256 worksheets, limited only by our system's available memory. The Sheet 1 tab is displayed by default. Most of the work we do in Excel will be on a worksheet. A worksheet is composed of 256 columns, labeled A through IV. Row headings appear as numbers from 1 to 16,384 down the side of the worksheet. The intersection of each column and row is a cell. There are a total of 4,194,304 cells in each worksheet. Each cell has a specific address referenced by the intersecting column and row headings. The first cell has the reference A1 for column A, row 1. Let's view a sample worksheet. We'll select the Open an Existing File tool. It's the second button on the left side of the standard toolbar. In the Open File dialog box, we'll double-click the Learn folder to see a list of its files. Now we'll highlight the Chapter 1 file. We choose Open to open the file. This is a multiple worksheet file with 4 tabs, which represents the retail, cost, and profit amounts of baseball team articles. Each team has its own figures and worksheet, and the tabs have been renamed to reflect this. You can have up to 256 worksheets in a file, and each one will be identified by a letter or name in the tab. If a tab shows a slight indentation, that worksheet is active. To move to another worksheet, we simply click the tab. Let's view the Royals worksheet. Place the mouse in cell C10 and click to activate the cell. We can also use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move to the cell we want to activate. Before carrying out most commands and tasks in Excel, we first have to select or highlight the part of the worksheet we want to work with.
We've been practicing selecting a single cell. A range of cells is a rectangular section on the worksheet that contains 2 or more cells.
To select a range with the mouse, we drag the mouse through the cells we want to include. We can also hold down the Shift key and press the arrow keys to highlight with the keyboard. To select one column, we click on the column heading, or we hold down the Control key and press the space bar. To select a row, click the row heading or hold down the Shift key and press the space bar. To select several columns or rows, drag through the headings. To select a block of cells, click the mouse on the first cell and hold down the Shift key while clicking the last cell. To select all the cells on a worksheet, click the Select All button. It is the rectangle in the upper left corner of the worksheet where the row and the column headings intersect. Or if we prefer the keyboard, we can either hold down the Control key and press the letter A, or we can hold down both the Control and the Shift keys and press the space bar. To make a multiple selection, we drag through the first selection and hold down the Control key as we drag through each additional selection. If we forget what a command does, on-screen help is available.
Excel has general help as well as context-sensitive help that applies specifically to what we are currently doing.
To display the Help menu, click on Help. Click on Help again to close the Help menu. We can also click on the Help button and the cursor turns into a question mark. We place the pointer over a command name or a screen element and click the mouse. Then we get information about that command or element. We press Escape to cancel the Help function. Clicking the second button from the right on the standard toolbar opens the Tip Wizard. The Tip Wizard displays tips that suggest more efficient ways of working in Excel.
The button is yellow whenever the Tip Wizard has a tip for you.
The Tip Wizard gives us a particular tip once during an Excel session. However, it will give us the same tip during subsequent sessions if we perform the associated action 3 times. To clear the Tip Wizard's memory, click on the Tools menu, choose Options, select the General tab, and then select the Reset Tip Wizard checkbox. We then press Enter.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
In this chapter, we discussed the elements of the Excel opening screen.
We also viewed a sample worksheet and discussed both workbooks and worksheets.
We learned to select a single and range of cells.
Finally, we displayed the Help window, viewed help topics, and discussed the Tip Wizard. As we type numbers in a cell, they are automatically aligned to the right.
If a number is too long to display within the width of the cell, Excel will try to display the number in exponential notation.
To enter a negative number, either precede it by a minus sign or enclose it within parentheses.
When we create a new worksheet, all cells have general format. However, if we include dollar signs, percent signs, or commas, Excel automatically changes the cell's format.
Click in cell A1 to select it and type 500, then press Enter. Type -250 and press the down arrow on the keyboard to enter the number and move to cell A3. Type 15% and click the green check mark on the formula bar. Click the mouse on cell A4 and type $3,123 and press Enter. We can format a cell or a range of cells before or after we make the entry.
When we change the format of a cell, we change the appearance only. The underlying value doesn't change.
Excel has formats for numbers, currency, dates, times, percentages, fractions, and scientific notation. Let's click on the File Open button in the standard toolbar. It's the second button from the left. In the Learn directory, we'll double-click on the Format file. We'll select the range B1 through B5. Click on the Format menu and select Cells, or click the right mouse button inside the range and choose Format Cells from the shortcut menu. Select the Number tab if necessary, then click on the Currency category. We'll also select a format for negative numbers and set the number of decimal places to 0. And then we'll click on OK or press Enter. Notice the number's appearance has changed, but the number appears unformatted in the formula bar. The number in the formula bar is the number Excel uses when performing any calculations on this cell. Select the range C1 through C5 and click the right mouse button. Choose Format Cells. Make sure the Number tab is selected. Click the Accounting category and click on OK. The accounting formats keep the dollar sign to the left of the cell. Notice the number symbols in certain cells. This indicates that the number is too wide to be displayed in the column. Point to the vertical line at the right edge of the column C heading and double-click the mouse. Excel automatically adjusts the width of the column of the widest entry in column C. We can also use the buttons on the formatting toolbar to apply number formats. Select cell A1 and click on the Currency Style button. It's the button containing the dollar symbol. The Decrease Decimal Places button is the third from the right on the formatting toolbar. We'll click on the Decrease Decimal Places button twice to round the number off to the nearest dollar. Select the cell F4, then click the Percent Style button and click the Increase Decimal Places button once. The Increase Decimal Places button is the fourth button from the right. Select cells A3 through A4 and click on the Comma Style button. We'll decrease the decimal places to 0.
You may pause the tape now to practice on your computer.
The standard column width in a new worksheet is 8.43 characters.
We can change the width using AutoFit or define a width from 0 through 255 characters.
To change column width using the keyboard, we select either the column we want to change or a cell in the column we want to change. Click on the Format menu, select Column, then choose Width from the submenu. We'll type 15 to increase the width of column A and click OK. Now we'll click in cell D6 from the Format menu. We'll choose Column, then we'll select Auto Fit Selection.
When we choose Auto Fit Selection, Excel widens the column so that the longer string of numbers or text is fully displayed in its own column and doesn't spill over into other columns.
To change column width using the mouse, point to the vertical line at the right edge of the column heading. When the pointer changes to a vertical bar with arrows to each side, drag to the right to widen the column or to the left to narrow it. We can also double-click the mouse on the column boundary to auto-fit the selection. We can also adjust the column width by clicking the right mouse button on the column letter. We choose column width in the shortcut menu and type the desired number. To change the column width for the entire worksheet, we click the Select All button. It's the rectangle in the upper left corner of the worksheet where the row and column heading intersect. From the Format menu, choose Column, then Width from the submenu. Type a number and click OK. To change row height using the keyboard, we select either the row or a cell in the row that we want to change. We click on the Format menu, select Row, then choose Height. We type the row height we want and press Enter or click OK.
Row height also has an auto fit option. When we choose auto fit, Excel adjusts the row height to accommodate the largest font in the row.
To change the row height with the mouse, point to the vertical line at the bottom edge of the row heading. When the pointer changes to a horizontal bar with arrows pointing up and down, drag down to increase the row height or up to decrease it. To auto-fit with the mouse, double-click the mouse on the bottom of the row boundary. We can also adjust row height by clicking the right mouse button on the row number. Choose row height in the shortcut menu, type the desired number, and click OK. To change the row height for the entire worksheet, we click the Select All button. It's the rectangle in the upper left corner of the worksheet where the row and column heading intersect. From the Format menu, choose Row, then from the submenu, choose Height. Type a number and click OK.
We can change the position of numbers or text within a cell.
Initially, all numbers are aligned on the right side of the cell and text is aligned on the left. We click the Open button on the toolbar and double-click the Alignment Exercise file. We change the alignment for all of column B by clicking the mouse on the B heading. Click the Format menu and select Cells. Then we choose the Alignment tab. Our horizontal choices are: General Alignment aligns text to the left of the cell and numbers to the right. Left Alignment puts all cell contents to the left side of the cell. Center Alignment arranges all cell contents in the center of the cell. Right Alignment places all the cell contents on the right side of the cell. The Fill option repeats the contents of the cell until the cell is full. Justify justifies wrapped text. Center Across selection centers the text over the selected columns. The Wrap Text box wraps text within a cell so that all the text can be displayed in a narrower column width. We'll choose Center and click OK. Let's select the range A1 through A4 and change the alignment to left using the toolbar. The Left Align tool is the button to the right of the U button on the formatting toolbar. Now let's select cell A7 and type a %sign. We click the green check mark, then highlight cells A7 through G7. Then we'll click the right mouse button on the highlighted area. We'll choose Format Cells from the shortcut menu. Make sure the Alignment tab is selected and choose the Fill option. Click OK or press the Enter key. To use the Wrap Text option, we'll click in cell A11 and type January Sales. Click the green check mark on the formula bar. Choose Cells from the Format menu and select the Alignment tab in the dialog box if necessary. Click on the Wrap Text box and press Enter. To center text across columns, we'll type 1998 sales projections in cell A9. We then highlight cells A9 through F9 and click on the Center Across Columns button of the Formatting toolbar. Clearing a cell clears the contents, formatting, and/or notes from that cell.
Deleting a cell removes the cell and closes up the space occupied by the cell.
In a formula, the value of a cleared cell is 0.
Formulas referring to deleted cells return an error value.
To delete a range, select cells A1 through A2. We'll choose the Edit menu and select the Delete command. In the dialog box, we choose Shift Cells Up and click on OK or press Enter. To clear a range, we'll select cells A1 through A2. From the Edit menu, we'll choose Clear. Then we choose All from the submenu. To clear the contents only, we'll click on the heading for row 1 to select the entire row. We press the Delete key on the keyboard. To clear the formats only, we'll select column C by clicking its column heading. From the Edit menu, we choose Clear and Formats. To delete an entire column, we click the right mouse button on the D at the top of the column to select the column and access the shortcut menu. We'll select Delete from the menu. To delete a row with the main menus, we'll click the row heading and select Delete from the Edit menu.
The Undo command allows us to reverse the most recent action.
Click in cell A1 and type Excel. Click the green check mark, then click on the Edit menu and select Undo Entry. Click on cell B2 and press the Delete key on the keyboard. Click on the Undo button to undo the clear. It's the curved blue arrow that's pointing to the left on the standard toolbar. Click the right mouse button in cell B2 and choose Delete. Select the entire row and click OK. Now let's hold down the Control key and press the letter Z to undo the deletion.
You may pause the tape now.
In this chapter, we entered data into the cells of the worksheet.
Then we formatted cells using Excel's number formats.
We changed both column width and row height.
We also adjusted the alignment of the data in the cells.
Finally, we cleared and deleted data, and then we used the Undo command. The File Close command allows us to clear our screen to work on a new worksheet.
We can save our worksheet each time we choose this option.
We can also close the worksheet by choosing Close in the Worksheet's control menu or by double-clicking on the Worksheet's control menu.
We don't have to close a worksheet to open another. The number of open worksheets is only limited by the amount of memory our computer has.
From the File menu, we'll select Close. We'll choose No to close the worksheet without saving it. We are ready to open another workbook or create a new workbook. We'll click on the New Workbook tool on the standard toolbar to create a new worksheet. It's the first button on the left. When entering data into several cells, we can increase the speed of our data entry by selecting that range of cells first.
Once we have selected the range, we'll use the Enter and Tab keys on the keyboard to move from cell to cell while still keeping the cells selected.
It's important to remember that using the arrow keys on the keyboard or clicking the mouse will undo the selection. We'll highlight the range A1 through C5. Pressing the Enter key moves us down one cell at a time in the selection. Notice when we reach the end of the selection in column A, pressing Enter moves us to cell B1. Holding down the Shift key as we press Enter moves us up one cell in the selection. Pressing the Tab key moves us to the right one cell in the selection. Holding the Shift key and pressing the Tab key moves us to the left one cell in the selection. We'll type some data pressing Enter after each number. We can change and correct information before and after we enter it into a cell. If we want to type completely different data in a cell, we just select the cell and retype the data. Click in cell A1 and type 1250. To erase mistakes during entering, we use the backspace key. Click in cell A6 and type 158. Then press the backspace key once and type a 9. To cancel the entry, we press Escape or click the red X. We can change and correct information after we enter it by double-clicking the cell containing the data we want to edit. Let's double-click cell B1. Press the Home key on the keyboard to move to the beginning of the line. Press the End key to move to the end of the line. Use the right or left arrow keys to move one character to the right or left. Hold down the Control key and press the right or left arrow keys to move one word to the left or right. Press the Home key on the keyboard to move to the beginning of the line and type a 1. We click the green checkbox on the formula bar to change the number to 1129. We can also select a cell and edit the entry in the formula bar. We select cell B3. Click the mouse in between the 1 and the 5 on the formula bar. Type 8 and press Enter to change the number to 18,583. Finally, we can edit a cell by using the F2 key on the keyboard. We'll click in cell C1 and press the F2 key on the keyboard. The F2 key is the Edit key. Press the left arrow twice to place the cursor between the ones and type 0. Press Enter to change the number to 1012.
Any newly typed data or updated data isn't saved to disk automatically.
To save a file, we must give the file a name.
To make it easier to find your documents, we can use long, descriptive file names.
The complete path to the file, including drive letter, server name, folder path, and file name, can contain up to 218 characters. File names can't include any of the following characters: /, \, greater than sign, less than sign, asterisk, question mark, quotation mark, pipe symbol, colon, or semicolon. Click on the Save File icon on the standard toolbar. It's the third button from the left. Type Save Exercise and press Enter. The workbook is now saved on disk using this name. Choose cell B2 and type 250. Click the Save File tool on the toolbar again to replace the previously saved version of the worksheet with the current one. The keyboard shortcut is Control-S. To assign a new or different file name or format, choose Save As from the File menu or use the shortcut key F12. In the Save File as Type box, we can save the workbook as a different file format such as Lotus 123, DBase 4, or Quattro Pro. If we choose the Options button, we can add a password. We can also create a backup file. This way we can have the last two versions of a worksheet on our disk, both the version we just saved and the previous version. We'll choose the Cancel button in both dialog boxes. Let's choose Close from the File menu to close the file. To open a saved workbook, we choose the File Open tool on the toolbar. It's the yellow File Folder button, second from the left. We can either type the name of the workbook or select it from the list box. If the document isn't in the list, choose the triangle button to the right of the Look In box. Click the drive that contains the document. In the box beneath Look In that lists folders and files, double-click the name of the folder that contains the document. Continue double-clicking subfolders until you open the subfolder that contains the document. To open a document created in another application, click the file format you want in the Files of Type box, and then click the document name in the box that lists folders and files. You can also type the extension in the file name box. For example, type *.wk4 to find Lotus 123 Release 4.0 files. We changed the type back to XLS. We'll double-click on Save Exercise in the list. To open a document we've recently worked on, click its name at the bottom of the File menu. If the list of recently used documents isn't displayed, click Options on the Tools menu, then click the General tab. Select the Recently Used File List checkbox and click on OK.
You may pause the tape now.
In this chapter, we closed a worksheet and created a new workbook.
We entered data in a selected range, edited a cell, and saved a workbook.
We created a backup file, opened an existing workbook, and opened a recently opened workbook.
Text entered into a cell can contain letters, digits, and other special characters.
A cell can hold 255 characters of text. If text is too long to fit in a cell and the cell to the right of it is empty, Excel displays the extra text in the empty cell.
If the cell is not empty, the display is cropped. We have to widen the column to display the text.
We can also enter text across selected columns. We begin at a new document. In cell A1, type 1996 sales projection. We'll click the checkbox on the formula bar. Select the range A1 through F1. We'll make sure the text we want to center across columns is in the far left cell. Click on the Center Across Columns tool. It's the 9th button from the right on the formatting toolbar. By using the autofill feature, Excel can automatically enter a series into our worksheet.
We can automatically fill in dates, time periods, and series of numbers, including numbers combined with text, such as Store 1, Store 2, and so on.
The autofill feature works in both horizontal and vertical directions. We'll open a new workbook by clicking the first button on the left side of the standard toolbar. Type January in cell A1 and click the green check mark. Place the mouse on the fill handle. It's the little black handle in the lower right corner of the active cell. We'll click and hold down the mouse button as we drag to cell A10. When we reach cell A10, we release the mouse button. We'll type 12/28/95 in cell C1. Place the mouse on the fill handle and drag to cell C5. We'll type a 1 in cell D1 and a 2 in cell D2. We highlight both cells and drag the fill handle to cell D7. In cell E1, we type first quarter and drag the fill handle to cell E5. We'll click the Save tool on the toolbar and name the workbook Autofill Series. Press Enter and close the workbook by double-clicking the Control menu to the left of the File menu.
We begin a formula with an equal sign.
We can also type a plus or minus to begin a formula, and Excel will convert these to an equal sign.
Formulas may include values, cell references, names, functions, and operators.
Excel uses these arithmetic operators. We use a plus sign to add, a minus sign to subtract, an asterisk to multiply, and a forward slash to divide. The order for operations is parentheses first, then exponents, then multiplication and division, finally addition and subtraction.
This means Excel will perform any operation enclosed in parentheses first. It will perform addition and subtraction operations last.
At a blank screen, we'll choose the Open File tool on the toolbar. Double-click the Formulas file. To add the total sales for Division 1 and Division 2, we'll click in cell C4 and type an equal sign. Then we'll click in cell A4 and type a plus sign. Finally, we'll click in cell B4 and press Enter. Now let's click in cell E4. To subtract the expenses from the sales, we first type an equal sign. Then we click in cell C4 and type a minus sign. We'll click in cell D4 and press Enter. To figure the percent of change, we'll first click in the cell where we want the answer to appear. Let's click in cell H4. Type an equal sign to begin our formula. Click in cell G4. We'll type a forward slash to divide, then click in cell F4 and press Enter. We'll double-click the Control menu to close the workbook. Choose Yes to save the changes. Typing formulas can be awkward when developing worksheets with numerous rows and columns.
Excel provides functions that streamline the operation of our formulas.
Functions perform a specific operation. They consist of an equal sign and a single word that identifies the function.
Excel will accept an @ symbol and convert it to an equal sign.
Again, we choose the Open File tool on the toolbar. Double-click Sum function to open the workbook. Here, click in cell B10. To find the total, we'll use the Function Wizard. The Function Wizard is on the standard toolbar and has a lowercase fx on it. We'll choose Sum from the most recently used category and click on the Next button. Let's move the Function Wizard dialog box out of the way by dragging the title bar. We'll click in cell B4 and drag through cell B9. Then we'll click on the Finish button. To automatically add, we'll click in the cell where the answer will appear. Click the Auto Sum button on the standard toolbar. It's the button to the left of the Function Wizard. We'll click the button again to accept the proposed range and total the column.
To access the Auto Sum button with the keyboard, hold down the Alt key and press the equals key.
When we construct our worksheets, we often use the same data and formulas in more than one cell.
The copy option allows us to create the initial data or formula once and then place copies of this information in other cells in the worksheet.
Excel offers 3 methods for copying formulas. First, we'll click in cell C10. We'll select Copy from the Edit menu. Then we'll click in the cell we want to copy the formula to. We select cell D10 and press Enter to paste the formula. Notice the cell addresses in the formula have changed automatically to add the new column. To use the second copy method, we select the range D10 through F10. Choose Fill from the Edit menu and Right from the submenu. We can also fill left and up. Press the right arrow to scroll the worksheet. To utilize the third copy method, we first click on cell G4. Place the mouse pointer in the bottom right corner of the cell until it changes to a cross. We'll click and hold the left mouse button as we drag the cross through cells G5 to G10. Then we release the mouse button. When we copy, we take a value or a formula in one cell and copy it into a cell or range of cells.
Moving is similar, except that the original cells are cleared.
We'll highlight cells A4 through G10. Click the right mouse button in the selected range and choose Cut. Click on cell A5 and press the Enter key. In this chapter, we entered text into the worksheet and we created a text series by using autofill.
We created basic mathematical formulas, used the sum function, and the AutoSum tool.
Finally, we copied and moved data.
Excel offers several ways to enhance our worksheet.
After closing the previous document, we are at a blank screen. First, we'll open the profit projection file. Now let's add borders to set off the headings and totals. Select the range A1 through F2. Position the mouse anywhere over the selected cells and click the right mouse button. Choose Format Cells. Click the Border tab if necessary. We click on the border outline and choose the style of our choice. To add some color to our selection, we click the arrowhead button to the right of the color box. We choose a color and click OK. While we still have this range selected, we'll change the font and point size. Click the arrow button to the right of the font box. The font box is the first box on the formatting toolbar. We'll select the Bookman Old Style font. The font size box is just to the right of the font box. We'll click the arrow button to the right of the size box and choose 16. Now we'll select cells B10 through F10, then choose the arrow button to the right of the Borders button. The Borders button is the third button from the right on the formatting toolbar. Select the second choice from the left in the first row to draw a border under the selection. Highlight cells B11 through F11 and click the menu button next to the Borders tool. Choose the first button in the second row to double underline this selection. Click on cell A5. The B button on the formatting toolbar will add bold facing to the selected cells. We click the B button to turn on the bold facing. If we click it again, we turn off the bold enhancement. We'll leave it turned on. The I button italicizes. We'll choose it also. The U button adds underlining. We'll leave that button off. To add bold facing, we hold down the Control key and type the number 2. To add italics, we hold down the Control key and type the number 3. To add underlining, we hold down the Control key and type the number 4.
Excel allows us to copy the formats from one cell or range to another.
While cell A5 is still selected, we'll click the Format Painter button. The Format Painter is the 10th button from the left on the standard toolbar. It looks like a paintbrush. Click cell A6 to apply the formatting. To copy formats to more than one range, we double-click the Format Painter button. We'll drag through cells A7 through A11. Then we'll drag through cells B4 to F4. When we double-click the Format Painter button, the Format Painter cursor stays active until we click the Format Painter button again. Click the Format Painter to turn it off. Now let's print our enhanced worksheet.
The Print menu prints the worksheet based on the setting in Page Setup and Printer Setup.
Choose the Print command from the File menu. The Print What option allows us to specify if we want to print areas within a worksheet, selected sheets, or the entire workbook.
If we choose Selection, Excel prints only the selected cells in the selected sheets. Non-adjacent selections are printed on separate pages.
The Selected Sheets choice prints the print area of each of the currently selected sheets, with each print area starting on a different page. If no print area is defined on a separate sheet, that entire sheet is printed.
Entire Workbook prints the entire print area of all sheets in the active workbook. If a sheet doesn't have a print area, the entire sheet is printed.
The Copies option allows us to specify the number of copies we want to print. Page Range lets us specify which pages in the selected sheets to print. All prints all the pages in the selected sheets. Pages prints the range of pages specified in the From and To boxes. To close the Print dialog box, we'll click on the Cancel button.
Print Preview displays each page as it will look when it's printed.
Print Preview is useful when we are printing long or heavily formatted worksheets because we can see how the worksheet will be positioned on the printed page, and we can make changes before printing. We'll click the Print Preview button on the standard toolbar. It's the 5th button from the left. The status bar at the bottom of the screen shows the current page number and the total number of pages in the selected sheet. The mouse looks like a magnifying glass. We position the mouse on the part of the worksheet that we want to view. We click the mouse to zoom in on that area. We click the mouse again to return to the page preview size. Click the Margins button to adjust the margins. We change the margins by dragging the handles. If we place the mouse on the black boxes at the top of the page, we can adjust the column width from Print Preview. Click the Setup button.
Page Setup controls the appearance of the printed document.
Page Setup options apply to individual sheets within a workbook. When we are working with a group of selected sheets, any changes we make in the Page Setup dialog box apply only to the selected sheets that are of the same type as the active sheet. The Page tab controls page orientation, scaling, paper size, print quality, and starting page number. We'll set the orientation to portrait. The Margins tab controls the page margins, header and footer margins, and vertical and horizontal centering. We'll change the top margin to 2 inches and center our worksheet both vertically and horizontally. The Header-Footer tab selects a header or footer from the built-in headers and footers. We can also customize a header and footer. We'll click the Custom Header button. We'll click in the left section and type Viagrafix. We'll drag across Viagrafix, then click the capital A button. Let's select the Times New Roman font, change the size to 14, and choose double underline. Then we'll click on OK. Click in the right section box and click the second button on the left to add the page numbers as a header. We'll press the space bar and type the word of, then space, and click the third button from the left. This button displays the total number of pages, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, and so on. We click on OK twice. Now we'll click on the Close button to leave the Print Preview window. From the File menu, we'll choose Page Setup. The Sheet tab controls the print area, print titles, page order, black and white printing, draft quality, and printing cell notes, cell grid lines, and row and column headings. The Sheet tab is displayed if the active sheet is a worksheet or a macro sheet. Now let's click in the Print Area box. We'll drag the Page Setup box out of our way while we select the range to print. We'll move the dialog box back into position. Then we'll click on OK. We'll select the Print button on the toolbar to print the file. It's the fourth button from the left. In this chapter, we added borders, changed both the font and the font size, and applied bold facing, italics, and underlining.
We copied formats using the Format Painter. We discussed the Print Dialog Box, Print Preview, and the Page Setup.
That chapter concludes this Introduction to Excel for Windows 95 version 7.
We've covered a lot of information in this tutorial. If you feel the need to review, just rewind and study the tape until you're comfortable with the material.
We at Viagrafix would like to thank you for choosing our company for your computer training needs.
Remember, if you plan to learn Excel for Windows 95 or any other computer software, there is no better way than through video training with Viagrafix.